friends, and welcome to another WSIB Truth Matters with Joe Machado on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. I hope you're enjoying the day. It's certainly a nice and sunny and beautiful day, and hopefully it's going to stick around for a while. So today I'm going to talk about the Serious Injury Program. I'm going to cover it briefly. It is a pretty extensive program, but I'm just going to cover some of the highlights. And if you are entitled to these benefits, or you know somebody who is, then you'll know about these benefits, or you'll be able to share the information with someone who can benefit from it. The Serious Injury Program isn't really promoted a lot or talked about a whole lot within the injured worker community, unless it's someone who has had a catastrophic type injury or has a family member who did, and is their case is being handled through the Serious Injury Program. The Serious Injury Program and the benefits are covered under two major policies. One of them is the Independent Living Allowance, which is covered under the Operational Policy Manual Document 170602. I am going to put up these policy numbers on the screen. And then the other one is the Personal Care Allowance. That one's more extensive, and that's covered under Policy Document 170605. So just going back to what it is and how this program came about. So the WSIB had to put together a package of specialized treatment, equipment, and services that they provide for individuals that have had catastrophic injuries and that need help with their personal care and to improve their quality of life. Some of the injuries that are considered under the Serious Injury Program are, I'm just going to read them out for you here. And I have this information on WSIB Settlement's website as well in the Member Center, because we do have kits to address the Serious Injury Program. But anyway, for somebody who has had a serious injury originating from or such as paraplegia, quadriplegia, paraparesis, hemiplegia, major amputations, blindness, major burns, brain injuries, and serious crushing injuries to the chest, abdomen, that could affect either pelvis and internal organs. So there's a more expanded list in the policy and our website as well. But just to give you an idea, those are, as you can see, they are pretty significant injuries. And so the reason that these benefits are available and these specialized services, as I mentioned earlier, is to help individuals to improve their quality of life, but also to ensure that the certain care that they require and specialized devices are provided, as well as attendant care. So individuals that actually can go into the home to help with caring for a person in this situation. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more. But what is the definition of severely impaired as per the WSIB? So if you have a pre-1990 accident and a permanent impairment award, or otherwise a pension, in order to be considered a severely impaired within the WSIB's definition, you would have to have 100%, a minimum of 100% permanent impairment. For individuals who have had injuries after January 1st, 1990, and are covered under Bill 162 or Bill 99, then they would require a minimum of a 60% NEL award. Now, if you have, and I've had clients in this situation where the person has a pension under the pre-90 claim, and they also have a NEL under the post-90 claim, the WSIB will then review the information, determine which rating schedule is most appropriate to rate the overall impairment, and then determine whether or not it meets the criteria to be referred to the special injury program. Now, what does the independent living allowance cover, which is that first policy? So it covers a variety of things, and it's mostly things to do with, for example, home maintenance, snow removal, cutting the grass, for example, minor home repairs, to pay for a taxi if you need to go to the recreation center for some to do with some hobbies or distraction. If you have hobbies and you need to participate in certain groups, it also covers taxi for that. It also covers items that you might need for that. There is, right now, they pay an independent living allowance. The amount for 2013 is $4,681, and that gets paid every January at the beginning of the year in one lump sum. And you don't have to provide any receipts or explain what the money is for. Now, the WSIB allocates about $250 per items, and there's a far more expanded list. I just covered a few. And if you go beyond that list and you have items that aren't covered, that are needed, then if it's under the $250, you submit the request and they can consider paying for it. Will they? I'm not sure. At least they say they do. In the cases that my office has handled over the years, we've never had any issues with reimbursement from the serious injury program. It's one, getting a little dry here. It's one of the best programs that I have seen within the WSIB. I believe it's the best managed program. They have dedicated case managers and other support staff to help manage the needs of injured workers that meet that criteria and are being managed under the serious injury program. They have a huge budget. I have a client, for example, who had a below-knee amputation, and over the years it deteriorated. Eventually, he required the use of a wheelchair on a part-time basis. He was having some infections in the stump. He was having trouble with the different sleeves for the stump. He became allergic to it, so he could only use the prosthesis on a very limited basis. Anyway, they granted entitlement to a wheelchair. His washroom was on the second level of his home. They came in and they put a washroom in the main level. They put ramps both in the backyard and in the front and made modifications to the washroom. So just to give you an idea of the expense and the budgets that are available, and also there were modifications made to his vehicle for a special lift to put his wheelchair in and out of the trunk of his car. So these are things that a lot of us don't think about, but the serious injury program provides for that, and it's actually it's a very well managed program. It really is, and my hat's off to the people who manage the serious injury program, who are involved in that. I've only met people who are very caring, very compassionate. They don't have this no attitude. It's always like, okay, well, let's see how we can do things to provide you with a little bit more freedom and a better quality of life, and that's great. So you're not going to hear this often from me when it comes to the WSIB, but I believe in giving credit where it's due, and it certainly is due in the serious injury program. Now, the other part of the policy that covers also a broad range of services is the personal care allowance, which is covered under 170605. And so one of the things that they cover is attendant care, for example, where if the person requires, they have different levels of attendant care. So they have skilled attendant, they have personal attendant, and they have general attendant. and they all provide different levels of service. For example, skilled attendant will be somebody who's going to handle complex healthcare and hygiene situations. And general attendant, somebody who's just going to do some basic supervision. But they do have those three levels. And the other thing is that the WSIB, if the person, the claimant, requires to hire an attendant care person, the WSIB will cover that expense. The injured person sets themselves up as an employer. The WSIB will make a certain part of the remittances for the employer and cover the costs of the attendant care. If it's if the person requires 24 hours or more of care, of attendant care, and it's provided by a spouse or a family member or a friend, the WSIB automatically sets you up as an employer, and that person becomes an employee for all intents and purposes. So recently, I had another type of attendant care would be someone like a nurse or a personal support worker that would come in pretty much on a full-time basis to help care for the injured worker. So these are some of the examples. But yes, I did have two particular clients that come to mind where this happened, where the spouse was actually quit her employment to care for her husband. He became a quadriplegic in a construction accident, and she was paid as an employee, and they also came in and set up an elevator within the house to help provide more quality care for the worker. That was probably one of the most extreme cases that I've handled. I did have a viewer ask me the other day, apparently she is a full-time caregiver to her spouse, and she has suffered various injuries as a result of caring for her spouse, and I can see how that will happen with some of the functions that are required. And the question was, can I claim those injuries with the WSIB? And of course the answer is yes, because you are considered an employee, and so you're entitled to the benefits that any other employee would be entitled to receive. So anyway, that's pretty much an overview. I could throw a lot more at you, but it's just going to confuse you. These are the major sort of factors that I thought you could relate to, or maybe something could come to mind about somebody you know. And then, of course, if you want to have a better look at the policy, it's actually there's a publication that the WSIB has. It's called the Resource Guide for Seriously Injured Workers and Their Families. And it's quite an extensive manual, and it goes into detail all of the benefits and items that I just spoke about. It goes into detail about those. It also goes into detail about how loss of earnings benefits are covered. If someone, for example, is not able to make those decisions, the issue of a power of attorney to have those benefits handled or go to a person who has power of attorney, who's managing the claim. So there's a very expanded list of benefits and services that are available in the program. So again, and I'll put the title there on the screen, but it's a resource guide for seriously injured workers and their families. We also have all of this information on our website at WSIBsettlements.com in our member center under the heading Serious Injury Program, and it's got all of the benefits. It's got the links to the types of benefits and services, and it also has a document that we have if the person is claiming those benefits and has not received them. So anyway, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I know that it's only going to mean something to a select group of people, or not a select group, but a small group of people. But that's fine. I mean, my role here is to give as much information as I can. And if there are any other or any questions that come to mind with respect to anything that I've covered today, by all means, send me an email to joemachado@wsibsettlements.com, and I will give you a detailed response to your question. And by all means, please, as I always say, subscribe to my channel. It's free. It helps me to grow the channel. I want to reach as many injured workers as I possibly can in this province. I know there's a lot of people out there looking for help. They're not sure where to get it. They may not have access to it. It may be too expensive. Anyway, please share my videos, subscribe to my channel, and that can go a long way to not only helping yourself, but also helping others. And I'm going to continue to put out these videos. I have over 3 decades of experience dealing with all of these types of situations, from pre-1990 claims to Bill 162, Bill 99. And please visit WSIBsettlements.com. We have the most amazing set of tools there for individuals, support to help individuals manage the WSIB claims. And we are coming out with an exciting announcement either tomorrow or on Friday about a new feature that we're adding to our app, which is non-existent, and it's going to empower injured workers to deal with the WSIB. The other day when I talked a little bit about the whole KPMG report, I didn't talk about the whole 30-day appeal time limit that they may be implementing. I believe that decision's already been made and it will happen. I don't want to freak anybody out, but it's likely going to happen. The board has been moving in this direction for 2 decades now, since the implementation of Bill 99. But the feature we're adding to our app will address that. You won't need 30 days to appeal or deal with an objection. You'll be able to do it in a matter of minutes, literally. So anyway, stay tuned for that announcement. Please subscribe to the channel. And as always, friends, have an amazing evening. Take care.